Hey guys, Steve Welch here. I've had a lot of people that have asked me this question about the fuel mileage on their vehicle and about when you actually run out of gas, right? So everybody seems to have this thing where it counts down to, 20 miles till empty, 10 miles till empty, 3 miles till empty, and then it gets to zero. And what happens? Well, if you ask some people and your engine shuts off and you're stranded, it's nice to tell somebody that has a tendency to run on a very low tank of gas, but realistically that's not really what happens. So there's an amount in there that's going to be a reserve. Now how much is in there? It'd be a little bit different, but it's pretty cold outside this morning, so I got my tire pressure light on, but you guys can take a look and see what that looks like too. So if you look at my Tundra here, I got my tire pressure light, so it keeps telling me to adjust pressure, but you see how it says distance to empty, it says refuel right there. So normally if it says, anything there, it'll say like 20 miles till empty or something like that. But the question is when it says refuel, how much gas is left? And it's actually a really good question to kind of ponder here. I'm gonna give you your answer right now. Okay, so what is your answer, right? So depending on the vehicle that you have, there's going to be some kind of a reserve that's built in. So I know on Toyotas, the general idea about what they kind of give you after it says zero is roughly 50 miles. So realistically speaking, you should be able to get 50 miles after it says zero in most cases, depending on how you drive, depending on if you're pulling, depending on, right? Rule of thumb is obviously if it says refuel, you should refuel, right? But it does not just shut off. It does not just leave you there or anything like that. Something like a Tundra Sequoia, they tend to have about 6 gallons left in the tank. Something like a Corolla, I believe it has like 1.8 gallons left when it says 0 miles till empty. If you kind of equate that out, you realize that's roughly going to be a 50 miles that you can go. I think you're right at 2 gallons or so with a Camry. A RAV4, I think you're right about that same thing, about 2 gallons or so. Not scientific by any means. It's just kind of a rough idea on your miles till empty and how long that you tend to get after it says zero. So 0 miles till empty. So you do tend to have a reserve. I don't suggest busting too far into that, just because obviously it's going to put you at risk, and especially you saw it's 30 degrees right now. I always tell people if it's that low, which it hasn't been that low, it's been in the 70s, but right now it's 30 degrees. But if it's cold outside and it's possible you could be in traffic, things like that, think about it. It's better to have a full tank than an empty one. Also, it's better on your fuel pump, better on your engine. You don't get the remaining of what's left in the tank kind of stuff, the grime that might be in the bottom of the tank. So you're better off to keep more fuel in it than not. I know some people that fill up at a half regardless. I always suggest that in the wintertime, fill up at a half, just because, man, it's a whole lot better to be safe than sorry. In the wintertime, in the back of my truck, I tend to carry a small jug that's always full, with a couple, 2.5 gallons or so of gas in there. That's not just for myself. That's just in case I come across somebody that's, got a problem, or we end up in traffic, and, you can keep a car running for a little while on a couple gallons of gas, right? So, just in case, the worst comes, right? So then I've done videos on what you should do too. So, but there's my rambling answer for you on the miles till gallon or miles till refuel being 0, and what happens, and if you're really that close to empty. So Steve Welch here. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.